This one is hard. The most important professor in my life passed this weekend, and I found out today. If you guys read Fresh Off the Boat, you recognize her as Professor Dr. Jennifer Henton. The most important professor in my entire life was Dr. Jennifer Henton. She was a strong black woman from Philly with a voice like Marge Simpson. And there's more about Dr. Henton, but I wanted to share books that she put me onto and that she would like us to read. James Baldwin, Go Tell It on the Mountain. This is actually my copy from college, from the used bookstore. Toni Morrison's Sula, a very special book to me. Toni Morrison, The Bluest Eye. She recently was teaching this, or at least posting about it a lot. Brief History of Seven Killings, Marlon James. Love this book. Oscar Wilde, Junot Diaz, of course, you gotta read that. Autobiography of Malcolm X. And this book was very special, she put me on to. I was like a funny kid. I was on felony probation for 2 years of undergrad, and I was kind of a mess. I had like a skin fade, half moon in my head. I would rock like Allen Iverson and Rasheed Wallace jerseys to her class. A lot of teachers didn't really like it, but Dr. Henton was from Philly, so she felt me. And she would also talk to me a lot about like Asian masculinity, and that's why this book was big for me. She gave it to me, and there was this chapter, The Black Asian File by Natasha Diggs, and it was one of the first times I read something about Asian men being attractive. And it was written by a black woman, and it was just ill to like feel like you could be attractive in this world, and that there was solidarity with people out. Even though Dr. Henton passed physically, I really believe her spirit is still with us, and that there's more lessons that she's going to teach us. And there's two more books. The W.e.b. Du Bois Reader, you got to have that. And then this one was very special. She had me read the Tao Te Ching. And I have multiple copies of this, multiple translations. I used to keep it by my bed and read. It's not religious. They're like philosophical riddles. They're like poems that prompt like self-exploration and things like that. I really encourage you to read all of these books. And if you're a student of Dr. Henton's, let's just honor her, guys. She was the greatest. One of the videos got cut off, but what I was saying as I was talking about this book was that, you know, a lot of people gave me a lot of shit, still give me a lot of shit, like, oh, you know, you're so into black culture, you love rap music, you know, yada, yada, yada. And even at Chinese school, a lot of kids didn't accept me because their parents would say I was black, or, you know, I never really got it from black people. I just got it from other Asians, and I got it from white people. But Dr. Henton was one of the first people that really understood why it was that I kept seeking out black culture, black thought, black literature, because in America, from my experience and the way I was feeling growing up, 80s, 90s, there weren't Asian writers. I'm just forever grateful for the black writers in America that have really carried this burden for all of us. And for me, like, my kinship and interest in black culture, community, literature, art, it's not like as a fan, it's not as an homage, like it just spoke to me. It helped me figure out who I was, just like I write, not just for Asians, not just for immigrants, but for anyone who, like Henry David Thoreau, a white man, said, wants to suck the marrow out of life. It's not safe. It's not fair in America to say we're all equal or we're all the same, because we're not. And we know what advantages each person has, what disadvantages they have, how they're oppressed, how they're discriminated, how some people's bodies are physically attacked daily. If you're not white in this country, you're literally fragmented and not allowed to be a whole person. And so one of the only ways you can try to like reclaim other parts of yourself is to have solidarity with other communities. Like me and Dr. Henton had, like, we'd read Confucius together, we'd read Lao Tzu together, we'd talk about Buddhism, but then we'd also talk about Toni Morrison and Greg Tate and w.e.b. Du Bois. So I'm saying all this, I'm emotional. I'm just saying, like, who cares what anyone has to say about what inspires or influences you or what you should be or what normal is? Like, fuck all that. These were the books that spoke to me, and this was the professor that changed my life. So, thank you.